This is a quick tutorial video on OneNote 2013. It comes with your basic Microsoft Office products. If you have Word and Excel, you most probably have OneNote. And I've done one for OneNote 2010, so if you have that, you can watch it. There's not a whole lot of difference, so if you know the previous version, you also know this. Now, OneNote is used to keep track of your notes. You can have different sections, you can create a notes for different projects, you can share it with people. So when you start OneNote 2013, you get a new window that will ask you to sign into your Microsoft account. So that's the way Microsoft's been doing things. And the other benefit of that is if you do that, you will be able to sync your files, your OneNote files, to the cloud service called SkyDrive. So if I have 2 to 3 different devices, I log into it from different devices and they all will be syncing with each other. So when I make changes in one, the other computers will also have that change. So it's a really good feature, and also you have access to your notes on your smartphones. Pretty good. But even if you close that window and you don't sign in, you can do it later by using this sign in button in the right hand corner, or when you click on File, you will see options under Account and you can sign in there. And you can also share it to your SkyDrive. So that's the service that Microsoft is using. So you can create one free through Hotmail. If you already have one, you can use the Hotmail account. And SkyDrive is a great way to share your files with everybody, which I'll talk about it a little bit. So just the basics. First, the File button, where all the print options are. You've got your tabs: Home, Insert, Draw. And within each and every tab, you have ribbons. Now, if by mistake you double click on a tab, you'll find that your ribbons are hiding. And so if you do that, just make sure you double click on it again so that your ribbons stay there. Otherwise, you have to keep clicking to showing it. And you never have to double click, just click one time. The other thing is these buttons here, which are called the Access Toolbar, which you can customize by clicking on the drop down. And I've added my print, so you get a check mark there, and also the print preview. So I have these buttons here. And you can always go to more commands and you can find your other buttons to add it to your shortcut list. And you can change the popular commands to all commands, and then you can add whatever else you want. It also has an option to customize the ribbon. So we have these tabs like Home and Insert. So if you want, you can create a new tab, and then within the tabs you can create a group and then add different buttons to it. So it's a really good way to get a new tab on its own where you can keep all your important buttons. Okay. So in OneNote, what they do is they have this book here, and this book has different sections. So you can add a new section. So say I wanted a section for a new project. Okay. And I can type whatever the title. Now within the sections, I can keep on adding pages. Now instead of adding pages from here, I can go to Insert and I can use page templates. So you see they have different page template, and you can also click on the page templates on the bottom. And here they have different categories. So if I go to, say, planners, there are different categories there. Under business, I'll see there's one called project overview. So if I want, I can click it and I'll close this window. So you see there is the template of a project overview, and I can make changes here. Now if I want, I can point to this, left click and hold it, and drag it little to the right. So now this is part of the project X. So I can create different pages and then have more sub pages so that I can keep it organized. Now if I go back to Insert, Page Templates, and say I want a project to-do list, so you see it's added, and I can again drag this little inside so they all can be collapsed. So it's a very good way of doing things. Now what else can you insert in OneNote? I can insert a table, so I can choose how many rows and columns, and I can drag these in the columns. I can make it big or small. Now when you have any element in Microsoft Office, you start to see tools for it. So when I click away, tools are not there. When I click on it, I get the tools. And if nothing else, always think of right click. Right click means show me what I can do with this. So you might start seeing some options. Adding rows, deleting rows, columns, shading, colors. So all those things you can do. You can also insert file attachments. So say up here I wanted to put like a link to a file. So I can click file attachment. And then I can go to where the file is and double click on it, and I can choose to insert it as a printout or just the attached file. So I don't have to go around looking for it. I can leave a note and I can do that. I can insert a spreadsheet from an existing file, or I can create a new one and then edit it right in OneNote. I can also insert a screen clipping. So I can click here and then take a snapshot of something, which I'll show it to you a little later. I can also insert a picture. So I can go to wherever the pictures are, and there's the picture. You can resize it. I can also insert online pictures. So I click it, and then I can do a search online on office.com, or I can do a Bing search. And you can also sign into your account to get pictures and videos from Facebook and Flickr. You can also insert links or scanned images. If you had a scanner, you can just take a picture from the scanner right away. So up here I'm just going to type so if I wanted, I could highlight this and I can insert a link to a website. So I can just type copy or paste, or I can just type the website here and I can click OK. So that becomes clickable. I can even highlight this and insert a link to a file by using this button, browse for file, and I just go to where the file is, double click on it and click OK. The third thing is I can highlight the line, go to link, and I can link it to some page in OneNote. So say I go to this general and I can click this and click OK. So when I click it, it will take me to that section. So it's a very good way to organize and make things clickable. You can also insert a recorded audio. So you just click it and you have a microphone, start recording, and the recording will be there, or a video. So you can do that. And you can insert dates and times, and you can insert equations. So if I want, I can expand the window and go to somewhere else, and I can add an equation somewhere. Now once you add an equation, always remember you're going to get tools for it where you can edit it and you can add more things to it. But if you don't click on it, you don't get the tools. So just remember this part. This is common to all Microsoft Office now when you add an element. And you can always delete things if you didn't want it, highlight and hit delete. Pictures or whatever the elements are, you can delete it. So I can click on it, hit the delete button to delete it. And you can insert symbols. So that pretty much tells you all the important things you can insert in OneNote. And you can keep on adding pages. So if I needed, I could click on add another for homework or class notes, and then I can insert page templates, because they have some page templates for math and science notes. You can also go to page templates and look online to find more. So if I click it, now it's added a new for math and science, so I can keep track of things. And as usual, under home, when you highlight things, you can always change the font size, apply different styles. You can do that. Now one of the things that they've had for a while, and that's called the tags. So say I click here and I wanted to make it important, so I could just use the important tag. So it puts a tag there. If there was a question about something, I can put a question mark tag. So what happens is when I'm looking for things, I can go to find tags, and now I can find the information as tags. So they will list all the tags here. And there are many different tags like address tags, telephone tags, idea tags, movies to see or books to read. And you can customize it and you can add a new tag. And besides the tag, the search feature is also very powerful. So I've got some recipes, or if I type homework, then I'll get the homework. And it's also searching in the pages and the sections. If I type pizza, I've got a recipe page, so it finds me and I can click on it and it will take me to that link on that page. You can view OneNote in different ways. So if you wanted, you can view the OneNote as a doc. So what it does is your OneNote is here and then you can see the other page. You can go back to view and make it normal. Now under view, you can also view the rule lines. So if I wanted, I could choose it like this, so I can see the lines nicely. And there are different styles. You can also put page colors. You can zoom in and out. They also have features by which, so say if I type Tuesday, and under review, they have options to do spelling check. You can set your languages so that you can set your English US, English Canada, because some dictionaries have different spelling differences. I can even highlight a word and I can use the translate option and I can choose to translate selected text, and look on the right hand side, it's doing a translation from English to Urdu, and I can insert it right on top of it or next to it. I can even translate to some other language. Now they don't have the insert button for all of them. In some of them they do. Okay, so whatever the name is there, that's the name of the page, and that will show up there. So I can keep on changing it from here, and this feature is also there in Microsoft Word. So there are different languages. In here it only does like one word, but in Word it also does some sentences. So really nice way to check things out. Under the History tab, you'll see options where you can check out your recycle bin. If I right click on any page and I delete it, that page will be listed under the recycle bin. So I can check out the notebook recycle bin. So there are all the pages I've deleted, and I can come back to project or wherever I was. You can also see all the recent edits, so you can find the pages where you've edited them quickly. They also have page versions, so if you were making lots of changes, they'll keep track of it, so you can have a look at what the page looked like earlier. So that's under History. Under Draw, you see options to insert symbols. I can add that. I can even arrange this and put it to the send to back, so it's in the background. And you can delete it if you don't want it. And some of these features you can add here, so I can change the colors or something. But you see, now this didn't work because they want me to have a computer which is like a tablet, so I can touch the screen. So a lot of these draw options are available if you have a tablet or you have the new computers which has touch feature. Microsoft Office 2013 is the first system really built for touch. So you can look into that. If you have a touch, you'll be able to draw things with your finger by clicking on these highlighters. So that pretty much gives the really good overview of what you can do. And one of the other important element here is, say I wanted to protect my project X files from people. So I can right click here and I can say protect password, protect this section. So always remember right click. You'll also find it under, I think, review password. But if you don't remember, right click means show me what I can do with this, because I can even delete it from here. And I can also export or rename. So I'll choose password protect and I'll set a password. I'll put a password and then repeat the password again, and I click OK. And I can do it with anyone I want, and then I can lock it all. So I use the lock all. Close this. So now this is locked. I can see the other pages, but not this page. I have to click it, put the password. Now it is unlocked. Now you can choose to share your files with people. So under home, you can say email this particular page to somebody, but for this to work, you have to have Outlook 2013 configured with your computer. I have Outlook 2010 on this computer and it doesn't seem to work. But you don't have to worry about it because you can go to File and then you can say let's export it, and you can export a page and you can choose what format, like a Word file, PDF, and just export it. Or you can send the whole section or the whole notebook. So all of the sections are part of a notebook. There's also a send option that you can use to email again, but this will be only if Outlook 2013 is configured. And you can also choose to share it. So you can share it via SkyDrive. So you need to click on SkyDrive and then either sign up, or you can use your existing account that you have with Microsoft Outlook or Hotmail account, and you can sign in. So you'll be able to share links with people and they can see your notes. You can also print from here and also check out your print preview, for which I added the shortcuts here, which I prefer the print preview to be there. One of the reasons that I've started using OneNote a lot is by keeping track of interesting information from the internet. So instead of printing it or just bookmarking, I print it to OneNote. So let me show you what I mean. First, when I go to any internet and I wanted to say take a clip art or a clip of this page, so you will see this section here showing up, and it starts with OneNote sitting here, or you'll see it right there. So you can always launch it if it wasn't there. And I can take the screen clipping and I can just drag something. Now I can choose to send it to a selected location. So I can say, you know what, let's send it to project X and send it to the project overview if you want it, or just to the project X, and I click send select to selected location. Now when I come to my project X, this thing should be here. So there it is. So reduce the zoom from view. Or the other way to do it is I can just going to scroll down and I can go back to the section screen clipping, and I can just tell it to remember to the copy clipboard. So I just use the copy clipboard option. I'll do it one more time. Screen clipping and then say copy to clipboard. Now when I come here, I can go to any page I want. I can even add a new page and then click here, and then from home I can choose to paste it. So that's a nice feature. Now say I find a recipe on this place, so I can go to any recipe. So I have this recipe here. So what I do is I go to the option for print recipe. Even if you don't go, you can right click and print it, but I like to go to the print recipe so the ads are not there that much. So this is a nice little look, and then I can choose to print the recipe. Now instead of printing to my computer printer, I go to send to OneNote. So I've got both OneNotes. I'm going to send it to 2003. I click print. Now it will ask me, so what page do you want to send it to on OneNote? I can say, you know what, let's send it to, and you can choose the recipe from here, but they will show you listed here too. So I click it and then I click OK, and then I just scroll up and I give it a name. So I just type the name of the recipe and it will show up here. Now if this was like an Italian recipe, I already have a page for Italian, so I can just left click and hold it and drag it. So that way I don't have too many pages. I can organize it nicely and then I can expand it. Now whenever I want, I can just start typing the name and there it is. So this way you don't have to print anything and your recipes are available to you for your reference. In this clip button here, there is also an option called quick notes. So even if I don't have OneNote open, I can just start taking quick notes. And I can just close it. Now whenever I come to OneNote, I look on the right hand side on the bottom, there is quick notes and there is notes. So these are some of the notes I've typed earlier. And I can always right click and delete them if I don't need it. And they've also added this button here, to do button under home. So anytime you wanted to add a to do to something, you can just click it and it will put the check mark there. So very simple thing you can do. Now if you wanted to share and you wanted to control, you wanted to keep your personal and you wanted to keep your business shared, what you can do is you can go to file and then you can click on new. So when you click on new, you can say that I want to create a new notebook. Now if you wanted, you could create one on SkyDrive itself rather than on the computer. So that means this will be sitting on the internet. And then if you want, you can say, if you don't have the SkyDrive set up, you say I want to save it to the computer and I can create a new notebook. And I click create. So what will happen is I have a business notebook and I have a personal, and then I can do whatever I want to do with this one. I can share this notebook rather than sharing this one. So this is a really good way to separate your sections, and this way if you are sharing it with your colleagues, they will only have access to that, and you can even share the other one till the time you do not explicitly give people permission. Even if this is shared, if you don't give permission to people to have a look at it, they cannot see it because you are only sharing it with yourself. So I think that pretty much covers all the important elements of OneNote. So just try to see if you can sync it and sign into Hotmail SkyDrive, so that way you'll be able to sync across devices and also be able to read it on your smartphones. Thank you for watching. Hope this was useful. And you can find your other buttons to add it to your shortcut list, and you can change the popular commands to all commands, and then you can add whatever else you want. It also has an option to customize the ribbon. So we have these tabs like home and insert. So if you want, you can create a new tab, and then within the tabs you can create a group and then add different buttons to it. So it's a really good way to get a new tab on its own where you can keep all your important buttons. So in OneNote, you will see options under account, and you can sign in there. And you can also share it to your SkyDrive. So that's the service that Microsoft is using. So you can create one free through Hotmail. If you already have one, you can use the Hotmail account. And SkyDrive is a great way to share your files with everybody, which I'll talk about it a little bit. So just the basics. First, the file button where all the print options are. You've got your tabs, home, insert, draw, and within each and every tab you have ribbons. Now if by mistake you double click on a tab, you'll find that your ribbons are hiding. And so if you do that, just make sure you double click on it again so that your ribbons stay there. Otherwise you have to keep clicking to showing it. And you never have to double click, just click one time. The other thing is these buttons here, which are called the access toolbar, which you can customize by clicking on the drop down. And I've added my print, so you get a check mark there, and also the print preview. So I have these buttons here. And you can always go to more commands. This is a quick tutorial video on OneNote 2013. It comes with your basic Microsoft Office products. If you have Word and Excel, you most probably have OneNote. And I've done one for OneNote 2010, so if you have that, you can watch it. There's not a whole lot of difference, so if you know the previous version, you also know this. Now OneNote is used to keep track of your notes. You can have different sections, you can create a notes for different projects, you can share it with people. So when you start OneNote 2013, you get a new window that will ask you to sign into your Microsoft account. So that's the way Microsoft's been doing things. And the other benefit of that is if you do that, you will be able to sync your files, your OneNote files, to the cloud service called SkyDrive. So if I have 2 to 3 different devices, I log into it from different devices, and they all will be syncing with each other. So when I make changes in one, the other computers will also have that change. So it's a really good feature, and also you have access to your notes on your smartphones. Pretty good. But even if you close that window and you don't sign in, you can do it later by using this sign in button in the right hand corner, or when you click on file